Hey you guys, welcome to Everyday Anderson. If you've been here before, then welcome back. Today's dinner is buttermilk chicken biscuits, you guys. Instead of chicken breasts, I use boneless, skinless thighs. Y'all should know by now that I love those things. So let me show you how I do it. All right, you guys, so here are our ingredients and we'll just jump right into it. First, we're going to start off with 4 cups of flour. So usually I have this, but today I decided to double the recipe because I wanted to have some really tall biscuits and I wanted enough for everybody to have at least 1.5 biscuits for dinner. So that's 4 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of sugar and some salt, you guys. So again, if you don't want really tall biscuits, or maybe half of this, you don't need all this, then half this recipe because I doubled it today. So let's go ahead and give that a nice whisk around in the KitchenAid mixer. And then I'm going in with 1 cup of butter. This is cold butter cut into cubes. You want your ingredients nice and cold, you guys. I kind of eyeball it. I really don't use a measuring cup or anything like that for my biscuits or my pie crust for that matter, but just make sure it's nice and cold. So if you were doing the normal recipe, you would only do half a cup, but since I'm doubling it, I'm doing a full cup. So throw that in and you're just gonna put that on a medium-high speed. I start off on low and then crank it up a little bit because I like for the butter to incorporate into all of the flour and it should form nice little crumbles. You can do this with a Ninja blender. I've done that before, or even a hand blender. When I first started making biscuits when I was really young, I used a pastry cutter, and that takes a really long time, or a fork, but that's really difficult. So I put my paddle attachment and I'm just going in with the buttermilk, you guys. This buttermilk makes it so yummy. Get these nice and damp. You don't want it wet, but you do want it damp and tacky to your finger when you kind of put a little piece in between your fingers like this. I love making biscuits, you guys, but I have to stop myself from making them all the time. So I just make them on special occasions now. I'm going to flour my cutting board, put the dough here, and just knead it a little bit. And while you're kneading it, do it with purpose, you guys. Give it some folds. Don't just randomly push around the dough. Make sure you fold it, and this will help give you some nice layers later on. You'll see. After that, then I'm going to get my biscuit cutter, which works really nice, you guys, because it gives it a nice sharp edge and a crisp, clear cut to the biscuits, and it helps to make sure the biscuits rise evenly. I have my large cast iron skillet that I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in the pan. The cast iron distributes the heat evenly, and I really love the way my biscuits come out in my cast iron pots, but you can use whatever you have, you guys. You can use a baking sheet or you can use a pie dish. I like for them to touch just a little bit. And so just keep doing this process of cutting the biscuits and refolding the dough until you're down to your last biscuit. My last biscuit was a munchkin, but that's okay, it was still good. Make sure you leave me a comment and let me know how you like your biscuits. Where do you get them from? What is the best biscuit that you've ever had? I really like my homemade biscuits, you guys. But I have had a couple of restaurants, even some fast food restaurants, that have some pretty good biscuits. So here we are. So that is all done. Let these rise for a few minutes, you guys. Don't just pop them right into the oven. If you have a few minutes to wait, please let them rest for about 10 to 30 minutes. Now I'm going to go in with my dredging flour for my chicken. This is just some flour, baking powder, or you can use cornstarch, salt, Tony's seasoned salt, onion powder, garlic powder. I'm going to go in with some smoked paprika, chili powder, and celery seed. I love celery seed in my fried foods, you guys. It's the underrated flavor. There it is. Give that a nice whisk, and now we're ready for our boneless, skinless thighs. And make sure you add your black pepper. I think I almost forgot this day, but the boneless, skinless thighs have been cleaned. I trimmed some fat off of them and soaked them in a little bit of mustard and salt. That gives it a little kick of flavor when you're eating them, you guys, but you don't have to do that. You can use egg or nothing at all. It's up to you. And just go ahead and toss them and press them around, and I'm going to deep fry them. And there they are, you guys, so golden. This was my first batch. I had 2 batches, and look how crispy and yummy those look. So here are our biscuits. I baked them at 425 degrees for 30 minutes, you guys. Normally they would only take about 20 minutes, but I had to make sure these were brown and done. And since they were touching and all big and fluffy and stuff, you want to make sure these are done all the way. Look at that. That's almost 3 inches. It's over 2.5 inches tall biscuits, you guys. Look how hot and steamy these are. I was so happy. My family was so excited. We love chicken biscuit night. And now I'm just going to go in and cut these and put some butter. My husband and I like a savory jam. We like to use the Terrapin Farms hot, what is it called? It's hot pepper bacon jam. And I get that from Publix. Or you can just use a traditional grape or strawberry jelly like the kids like, you guys. But we try to switch it up and make it a little bit adult-like sometimes. But it's so good either way, I promise you. Look at those flaky layers, you guys. And I really wanted to eat this flaky layer, but I wanted to show it to you first. These were so tall, so fluffy, you guys. My whole family said how good they were. And make sure that you know that these are really filling. So don't think that you're going to kind of like throw down 2 or 3 of these, you guys. Usually I can only eat 1, maybe 1.5, and my kids only eat 1, and my husband can only eat 2. So keep that in mind, you guys. These are really filling. So I'm going to go with my jam, and on the first one that I'm going to bite, I'm actually going to double jam it, you guys. But it was so good. I just wanted to share this with you guys. I was so happy that I was recording it so that you guys could get to see just how delectable this actually was. That's that nice crispy boneless skinless thigh, and I did top these off with that California garlic powder when they came out of the hot grease. And look at this, you guys. You're going to see me do my ugly bite in a minute because these were so good. I had to take a bite on camera for you guys, but the biscuits were so big they barely fit in my mouth. Look at that. Look how tall and perky these biscuits are, you guys. And we created those layers in there, and you can definitely tell the difference when you do that. Look how buttery brown these are. Going in for my bite. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. Make sure you check out my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful and thankful for all of the new subscribers that I have. Make sure you check us out at Everyday Anderson on YouTube, or come to the website everydayandersons.com, you guys, where you can see some of my other recipes and just some more DIY tips.